Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 54 of the Talking with the Dad podcast. This evening we have half gaming, half other garbage that I really don't. No, it's fun stuff. We got fun stuff tonight. We got good topics. We're filling in the void for Rogan leaving to Spotify. We're going to be the only substantial podcast on YouTube now, so make sure to share that. Rogan's going to Spotify. He's leaving you guys. We're filling the void. That's what we're here for.
When is the official exit?
December 1st, but officially it starts uploading to Spotify tomorrow.
Oh, speaking of which, shout out to our Spotify listeners. And really, there are more listeners. I don't know if you noticed, Zach. I've never heard of this portion of... Just let me look it up, because I want to know if you've heard of this before. But shout out to our Anchor and Spotify listeners. Okay. And then this miscellaneous group here that's really been powering it. You guys really enjoyed that DC fandom episode. Mm-hmm. Overcast. Never heard of that, but we got fans. We got a fan.
Shout out the Overcast people. I use Podcast Addict as my app. I use that. I've used it for years. So
apparently Apple Podcasts as well. Got a lot of you guys from Apple Podcasts.
Shout out all of the audio listeners. I'm glad you're listening to audio because we look awful most of the time, and that's probably better.
I am hideous.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both. So,
but you know what? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna talk about games. Right, we're gonna do games probably for the first half of this show.
All right.
What games have you been playing? What games are you excited for?
I've been playing mostly Monopoly.
I love Monopoly. I absolutely love Monopoly. Dude, if you want to, I own Monopoly on Uplay. If you wanted to play, you let me know. We will fucking play Monopoly until you leave because you're angry.
I don't get angry at board games. Maybe just Chutes and Ladders. That's the one game that I would probably like because it's like
there's a really good Vine. I was gonna make the Vine reference, but you didn't use Vine, so
no,
you were too old. Yeah.
Vine, anyone my age jumping on Vine when it came out was just, you know what they were.
Oh man, Steve, you could have opened that little Logitech software, and we don't have these issues when you open the app for that thing, huh? Anyway,
I'll be right back.
No. The show's already going. We're not leaving in the middle of the show. You're just gonna be.
Oh wait, I'm back.
You're focused. Oh wait, go! Start getting all the stuff out. Okay, Monopoly. I love Monopoly, man. Obviously, I was raised by an accountant. I'm very good at Monopoly. Right. I had a girlfriend at one point, she was like, "Oh, I'm good at Monopoly," and I'm like, all right, listen, a lot of people have said that. A lot of people have come and gone saying they're good at Monopoly. She's like 1v1 me in Monopoly. I was winning so much, I was trying to give her advice on how to win, and she just quit. I'm ruthless. I absolutely can't stand.
But see, Monopoly's like a game of chance mixed with the best use of your results, right? So you got to use your resources well, and you got to kind of have like a plan. There's a real game that I like to play that really just drives people like Risk. Absolutely crazy. No, not Risk. Clue.
I like Clue a lot too.
My favorite board game, man. It is absolutely, and also one of my favorite movies as well. But
it's a movie.
Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, it's a classic, man. It's an absolute classic. I remember watching it as a kid, and Tim Curry, the late Tim Curry's in there. He's also the guy who played Pennywise the Clown in the first It movie. But it's really a comedy. But at some point, it was so funny as a kid to me.
It's from 1985.
Yep. The dark days.
Christopher Lloyd is in it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Tim Curry? I didn't know this guy passed.
Yeah, he passed away, man. What'd you think he was doing? He just disappeared?
No, hold on.
Neil Magny. Neil Magny will be the welterweight champion.
Tim Curry did not pass away.
Tim Curry is dead.
I'm on his Wikipedia page right now.
he is 100% dead.
I am on his Wikipedia page. Tim Curry, alive. Born. That's it, man.
Did he not die?
No. August 29th.
Yeah.
Dude, he died 2 days ago.
No, he didn't. He's been dead for a while, dude.
Tim Curry. Right here.
Rest in peace, Tim Curry. Died August 11th, 2019.
Oh, my God. He did not. Why is his Wikipedia page not updated?
That's why I say you can't trust that thing. I had someone send me a Wikipedia article one day, and I realized there was an edit button up there. I was like, what the? Oh, wait, hey, man. Hey, there's something I want to talk to you about. Now that we're done talking about board games.
Well, we were done with board game talk? All right.
No. I got to talk to you about something more insidious, more scary, but the people I think we should hunt down and just see if we can engage with them. I've been getting really deep into the QAnon community. I'm thinking about making a fake profile and jumping into some of their pages.
Yeah, good luck with that, man, because there's some like super sketchy people that like hang around in there. So
how do you know? How do you know?
I cursory know about a lot of things.
I do. You're like, my Tuesdays are open most days after Monday. I really just want to know, man. I want to know how deep it goes, dude. I want to go know how. So I downloaded a Parler account, created one with a different name. I'm just going to,
Parler.
You don't know what Parler is? The conservative version of Facebook. It's where people go.
I don't use regular Facebook. So why would I? There's only 30 people that work at this place. There's more people that still work at MySpace.
You know what's crazy, man? They're probably all in the server room together. Like, what?
Oh, man.
What's for lunch? Can you how's your week been going, big guy?
It's Monday. Fine. The week has been going very, very okay. It's Monday.
Yeah. How was your last week? How was your weekend?
It was okay. I play a lot of video games. That's about it.
How did Hawaiian Shirt Sunday go?
It was all right.
Yeah,
I enjoyed my Hawaiian shirt. It was exciting. Yeah.
You debuted a new one, didn't you?
Yeah.
It takes a real man to wear a Hawaiian shirt, dude. Like it.
What do you mean? They're comfortable. That's peak comfort.
I know it is peak comfort. If you go to Williamsburg, you'll see some of the best Hawaiian shirts you've ever seen, but also they're accompanied with usually cut off jean shorts as well.
Yes, Hawaiian shirts and jorts.
So you it's just so crazy. Like,
hold on, to be on the record, I've never and will never wear jorts.
Didn't you wear them to work one day?
Absolutely not. I would never wear jean shorts in a million years. There is a 0% chance that happens.
What's wrong with jean shorts?
They're too 1980s dad for me.
They're the male version of the mom jeans. Literally, that's what jean shorts are.
No, those are dad jeans.
Wait, show me up dad jeans. I gotta look this up.
Just look up dad jeans. I can't believe I'm advising Steve on fashion. I'm the least fashionable person on this podcast for sure. I own like 6 shirts.
I typed in dad jeans and a bunch of chicks showed up. Oh, I see what you're talking about here. They covered a New Balance well. Yes.
They're like usually lighter in color.
Oh, Zach. You know what, man? I'm glad that we're still doing the show, man. We're deep into it now, and as the world starts to drift closer and closer to madness, I've been recording these on tape and then been putting them in little capsules and burying them in my back.
It's not nice to lie to people, Steve. If you were recording these on tape, there would be a full setup there, and I could hear the wheel going in the background.
It's in the server room.
You couldn't figure out how to run a cable through that door. In the server, you just call it a server room. Hold on. Just call the room when you're like your fucking furnace and your water heater a server room. That is the last room you want to put any equipment in.
You're just mad because I won't rip up the walls of my house to run Ethernet, dude. Like you're just
you don't even have to. It's an easy thing.
Oh, it's an easy thing. Take me through it one more time.
It's easy. You cut a little hole in the wall.
Yeah,
right? And you put an access port in. Right, and then you run the cable down, right? You pull it
down
through. Right, you pull it through, and then another access port in the bottom.
Okay, boom. So there's a contractor somewhere like,
it's like a 25-minute thing, dude.
Oh yeah. If there are any contractors that follow us, please comment and tell me how right Zach is.
I bet you I'm not far off. I bet you I to be fair, I oversimplified it, right? But I bet you I'm not like that far off. Most likely there's some sort of conduit run through where your electrical cable is, so you would port it through there and then hope it snakes to the correct spot. But I'm sure there's more of a science to it. Maybe put a little camera on the end of it so you can see where it's going.
You know what job I've always been interested in, because these guys always seem like really chill. Well, some of them seem chill, some of them are super sketchy. But I always want to ask them, like, what was the bar of training that you had to pass? It's the cable guys that come to your house.
0. There is no bar for training. I've never had a good experience or a good encounter with one of those people. I actually think less of them than most professions. Like, to be fair, I'd rather like pump gas than be a cable man.
You know what, the gas place where they pump gas next to the shop right over there, not the one across the street.
Which one? There's 5.
Not the one that's across the street from the one that's on the same side of the road as
there's 3 on the same side.
So if you're coming out of town,
there's a Citgo, there's a BP, and then there's a Luke.
The Citgo, those guys are probably the guys that pump the gas there. Look very like they would be sketchy and shady. Some of the nicest guys.
They're all nice.
Yeah, every last one of them nice, dude.
Very nice guys. Yep.
I seen one of them screaming at someone the other day, and he's
because they drove through the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yep. I've gotten a lot of gas from that place, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $1.91 there now.
Is it? I pay $2.50 a gallon still.
Why?
Because of premium. Yeah. I need premium in my car for sure.
Loser.
Right.
Put premium in your car.
I paid $3 a gallon for it recently. So
dude, if you lived in California and you had that car,
$8 a gallon. I'd be pissed, dude. I would be fucking angry, is what I would be.
Oh, let's get it. So you got some video game topics here, Zach. Are you gonna be able to? You're gonna be able to compose yourself, buddy? Are you gonna be able to like keep yourself together? Because there's some stuff in here that like I would usually ask you to take your antacids and your happy pills before you start talking about it. You're enemy number one when it comes to Cyberpunk. You started off really excited. Now you don't even believe the game is coming out.
Absolutely not enemy number one. That is not the truth. What I say is I won't buy. The only thing negative that I've said about the game is that I won't buy it in the first week.
Won't buy it in the first week.
I want to see other gameplay, other people play it before I buy it.
So you're gonna stream it though, right?
Yeah, after the first week, unless they pay me to play it, and then I'll fucking play it whenever they want.
I got an email from Heineken. They want to know why we haven't responded to doing some of their ads.
I'm in.
You know what the crazy thing is? We actually have sponsor ads that we should be doing on Anchor, and we do a bit about sponsor ads, and we don't do.
No, we don't though. We don't have enough viewers. We don't have enough listeners. I'm not advertising Anchor any more than we already do. There's already a link in our fucking YouTube description. The issue is with Anchors, if you do the Anchor ad spots, you have to clip in.
You have to record
mid-rolls. No, not even. You have to clip in mid-rolls. They send you ad pieces and clip in mid-rolls. I'm not doing that.
Oh wait, is that how that works? I thought they just record.
No, I will do pre and post rolls. There would have to be a significant amount of money for us to do a mid roll, purely because why do we ever have an opportunity to go, hey, and wait a second, in between fucking arguing about DC bullshit and then discussing who the greatest heavyweight is of all time in the UFC. We don't have room for a 30-second ad spot. It's
easy to answer that greatest heavyweight thing. Everyone knows it's Crow Cop.
That's a good point. He might be the most scary for sure. He might be the most scary. Just super stoic.
Travis Brown is hands down the greatest heavyweight to ever do it. No one gets knocked out like that guy. You got to admit it, man.
I watched a clip of Fabricio Verdum throwing I
watched
today. Jumping. That was the most telegraphed I've ever seen anything. And Travis Brown was like,
no.
I think that was the same. Out.
That's the same fight that Fabricio front kicked. Tiger Schulman, white belt karate front kicked. Travis Brown's trainer, aka Ronda Rousey's trainer as well. Have you watched her YouTube stuff?
Don't care.
All right, we'll get back to Cyberpunk, but she's like really living the farm life.
I knew that.
It's like crazy.
She does it on Instagram too. I just I don't want to follow people after they retire. There's very few people that I'll follow after they retire. They don't interest me anymore, right? They're not a player in the sport that I want to see them be a player in.
See, I'll follow someone in retirement because I'm always interested to see what that transition's like. Because usually there's only 2 avenues they can go. They can start writing books, or they can become a caster. But now that we can see other stuff from them. I'm interested. Coach,
high school gym teacher.
I think Daniel Cormier is going to have, in a year or so when he's officially
retired. He officially retired. Finally.
Yeah, I'm not being a dick when I say this. I think after a year of being away from the sport, and like, because I can only imagine what it feels like to be him right now. Like he's climbed a mountain of greatness only to be, you know where I'm going with this, right?
Only to be number 2, realistically.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
in both heavyweight and light heavyweight. But dude, I would take that legacy over. I don't know, over John probably.
Over John. Absolutely. I absolutely. As for character level, there is no one better to look up to. You know, this George St. Pierre, DC, Stipe. I'm trying to think of other non-controversy fighters. Michael Bisping, believe it or not, is someone that
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson, Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber. These are guys like that came in, they fought,
and then left.
They did it, and then left. Yeah, I mean Dominic Cruz, obviously.
Well, he's really struggling the leaving part. But
yeah, someone's gonna have to pull him out because he wants to. And I understand his plight too, man. He lost the belt and he lost a lot of years where he could have been champion, and he got the belt taken away from him for being very injury prone. But I think Daniel Cormier is going to have a great retirement. You know, George St. Pierre is living his best life every day of his life. Every day is a new day on George.
Right? He does what he wants. He does what he wants, right? You know, there's a point of having enough money to where your only commodity is time. You know, and being able to control your time ultimately is probably the ultimate luxury. You know, being able to choose. Being able to choose when and where you go, or when, you know, even if you want to wake up at, 2 p.m. on a Sunday, no one's gonna bother you. You know, most people that successful don't do that. Clearly,
no, they can't sleep.
Right, they're not allowed to sleep. But being able to like choose, if you want to go on on like a business lunch or whatever, and like you don't need to ultimately, but it's the fun of it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think, look, when you think about Chael Sonnen's retirement, I think he's been one of the most productive people I've seen in retirement. And his brand suffered a lot. Obviously, when he retired and he was on Fox Sports 1 as a caster, he retired before the whole steroid thing was made completely public to kind of soften the blow.
But did he? But he just fought up to last year-ish in Bellator.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I just. Okay, so technically, yes, he fought, but he just those fights
were more fun than he didn't have to take those fights, right?
No.
What's crazy is he's the one person who says that if you're 1 foot in the game in fighting, that's when you should get out, right? And he's the person who said that and didn't follow his own advice.
No, it's crazy. He didn't follow his own advice, but I am kind of happy that Scott Coker or whatever his name is took over Bellator, because he did kind of give Chael a chance to go out the way he wanted to. Because you remember when Chael retired, he was supposed to be he did the Ultimate Fighter with Wanderlei Silva, and then that was probably going to be his last official fight, because he had just lost to Rashad Evans besides. So he got a do-over. That's what I was trying to stumble through before. He got a do-over, and we ran it back with Tito Ortiz, which is probably a bad idea, right? Tito is a bigger 205er, but Chael makes the best of his retirement currently. He's a top-notch analyst. He's most certainly one of the most intelligent people, and for someone that could be non-objective when it comes to watching fights and reporting on them, he's actually very objective. I find that he's more objective than Ariel Helwani on any given day.
You're very anti the nose recently, which is interesting. You talked a whole lot of shit about him at one point. I was actually watching Chael today. I forget what the conversation was, but I watched Chael fairly commonly now. I think he might have the best commentary overall of any of the analysts, because he was there. Yeah. There's something about being in there. I'm just discrediting Brendan Schaub at this point, although technically he might be the most successful after. It is what it is, right? I don't think his comedy is very good, and I don't think his podcast is very good, but still, he's making a shitload, way more money now than he did when he was fighting, so you got to give him credit where credit's due. But
and he's way more relevant now than he ever was when he was fighting.
That's a good point, which is very low bar. So I think Chael is probably the best analyst at the moment, for sure.
Yeah, I think he's right up there with DC. I think Chael's personality carries a little bit, because
DC doesn't make content, right? DC,
he's been doing the thing with Ariel. He's not making content.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I think DC is probably going to be more like your dad when it comes to his retirement. He's obviously he's got a lot of businesses, by the way. Owns a bunch of barbershops in California
does he?
and in San Jose. He's yeah, that's where AKA is, San Jose, right?
I think so. Yeah, he was a high school wrestling coach.
Yeah. What the hell are we talking about? This has nothing to do with Cyberpunk. What are you excited about this game for, dude?
I'm excited for a new single player experience, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Cyberpunk is probably going to be different than most games that are out currently, or maybe any game, I guess, is what I assume. Yeah. And hopefully it's really well done, and it's in a setting that I seem to like, but just by looking at it, right? I like cities, right? And generally I like to vacation to cities because I like to explore cities, and a game that I could do that's an RPG seems very exciting for me.
Can you answer some questions for me, because you're a man in the know and you can make sense of this stuff? So what was the delay about? Was it a game delayed because they wanted to fix some stuff, or
polish is what they said. They said that it wasn't up to their standards to release. So remember, these are the people who made The Witcher 3, which a lot of people widely consider one of the best RPGs ever made. So yeah, that's where they come from there. I don't know. I haven't seen the game in any state, right? You know, we got an E3 trailer 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? We got gameplay trailer 2 years ago. So if they were good enough to do gameplay trailer 2 years ago, where is all the polish going, right? Yeah. What really is needed that you need 2 more years on top of, you know, what you already had? So I don't know if you said it or not already, but there was a leak that I don't know if I can confirm or not. It was a leak of a picture of a billboard outside of the CD Projekt Red studios in fucking Sweden or whatever the hell they are, saying that the game is coming out on November 19th. So 3 months, 2.5 months, whatever it is, we could be getting, that's a bad date for them to release the game, by the way. That's 6 days after Call of Duty comes out. That is a horrible date. Different markets, I understand that, but you're also not going to get the people who would buy the game, but Call of Duty's out. You know, it is a subset of people for sure.
Why? Because people are going to allocate their money just to Call of Duty. They don't want to be spending
time,
like
not
60...
money, time. Time.
Gotcha.
We're going to allocate their time to Call of Duty. There's a lot of players who enjoy video games, but that first few months that Call of Duty's out, that's all they'll play. Right? I'm one of those people generally.
Well, I mean, we all know how you get down with Call of Duty. You're not going to play it for very long, Zach. It's already the writing's
if
on the
the
wall.
game is good, I'll play it a lot. But if the game plays like Modern Warfare, then it'll be 6 hours before I freak out and uninstall the game from my computer.
I remember when you swore off first-person shooters. And you were just like, "I'm just playing old school RuneScape." I was like,
"That was a good time. That was a good time."
That's like saying I don't know what's a good. I went from like
I
built this muscle car so I can drive around the pool at my house. That's you have a computer.
I went from like in like 2 months. I went from like 1,200 total level to like over 1,800 total level in RuneScape, and not doing it the easy way either.
It was kind of like watching a friend go into rehab or detox. Like you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a little time, get to know myself a little bit better. Relax, and then you start easing your way back in, and you pull back out because you're a little angry. But you're doing good, buddy. I think you're doing good.
I haven't played much shooters, man. I haven't played many shooters. Played some Tarkov.
Play some Battlefield.
Play some Battlefield. Okay, I don't get Battlefield is one of these weird games that there is a super hardcore community in Battlefield, but for me, Battlefield has always been a casual shooter. There's never been any modicum of competitiveness in Battlefield for me. Even like when I'm playing like on stream, like I run into situations I wouldn't normally to try to be entertaining, but I don't know. I'd never thought of it as a competitive shooter.
You know, it's interesting. As you're just speaking about that, I'm thinking about I don't think I've seen any gameplay from Cyberpunk, right? There's no like even a moment of gameplay that's footage that's been released. There is
E3 2 years ago, yeah. We got 30 minutes of gameplay or something, but it's just like people walking around. So it's not like actual like, hey, this is the first mission. You know, like what game does that almost every year? There's a game that does that almost every year. Call of Duty does it for sure. Like, hey, here's the first campaign mission or part of it. You know, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. No one cares about that shit. Give us the first multiplayer game. You know, we want you to hop on against the other devs and record #1, and I want live commentary. I want your thoughts the entire time.
Oh, you know what, man? I was listening to some old Courage commentary on the COD League and stuff like that.
Sure.
I gotta admit, he's got the voice for it.
He does.
He's got the voice for it.
Dallas Empires are your champion for CDL Season 1.
That's right.
The top three teams were the last 3 teams, right? Chicago Huntsman came in 3rd. They played Atlanta pretty well, but clearly not well enough. And Atlanta was the #2 team pretty much all year, and then Atlanta got pretty beat on by Empire. So
you know what's interesting about that, man? They got smoked that first game. They didn't get smoked, actually. I remember we covered this Dallas Empire versus Huntsman. They got beat. I'll put it that way. Huntsman beat them. And but there were a few people. That one kid that I always send you that covers esports, he had made a prediction. He's like, "Yeah, I don't see this being sustainable though for the Huntsman." He's like, "Dallas is more than likely gonna come back and smoke them at some point."
I want to go back and watch when I made all my predictions about the league. I'm curious on where I put everybody. I know I said that I thought Seattle Surge was going to be a sleeper, and they were just the worst team in the league. So bad, Karma retired from competitive Call of Duty. And J-Cap got benched from whatever fucking team he was on, so I know that team was invalidated almost immediately. J-Cap is one of the best in-game leaders to maybe ever play the game. Even if he wasn't having a good year or this wasn't his COD, his in-game leadership skills are second to none in my opinion. Maybe Proofy, but Proofy hasn't played in years. Yeah, there's a lot of things with the CDL did this year that were interesting, but all in all, Dallas Empire played well. That team was very good. Crim6 Clayster is a really, really good combo. It's deadly. Always has been. Always will be. So,
Crim6 is an interesting fellow. Don't know enough about him. I think that I could have probably rallied behind him as a new fan had he not made that video, which left him open to like public scrutiny. But you got to amp things up, right?
You don't understand the.
I know. I watched
the animosity coming out of Optic that year.
Listen to me. He's better than Horace Grant, but that situation was very similar to when Horace Grant went to the Magic and they played the Bulls that first year in the playoffs, and they didn't smoke them. They beat the Bulls, so that was a validation for Horace Grant, right? He got kicked. He got traded from a team where he deserved all the money they should have been paying him. Went to another team.
But he didn't. Did Horace Grant leave because he didn't enjoy his teammates, or was he kicked off?
He left because he wasn't getting paid. So that is the fundamental difference.
So Crim6 left and didn't want to team with these guys because they weren't taking World War II seriously, right? Which is the prior competitive game. What the fuck was last year's game? Was it World War II? No, Black Ops 4. Sorry. He wasn't taking Black Ops 4 seriously. They didn't enjoy the game or whatever it was. So he's like, I don't want to team with these fucking guys anymore, right? He probably would have liked to team under Hex because apparently Hex is just the best owner of all time, although Hastro's incredible in his own right.
Was he not on the team with him when Hex was involved with the team when he was on the team though, right?
Yes. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying he would have probably liked to stay under Hex, but not with Scump and not with Formal. Right, because they weren't taking it seriously, which is in itself is a deadly combo. So yeah, I wonder what the full animosity was there. Was it played up to sell tickets? Was it not? I don't think it was. I don't think Crim6 is that guy. So I think he genuinely didn't like playing with them anymore, even though they were an incredible team when it was Scump, Crim6, Formal, and Karma. That was an unstoppable team. It's the 4 goats, right? If you make a Mount Rushmore of Call of Duty players and you asterisk Big Timer, that's your 4, right? That's the 4, and they were on a team together and won a championship. So Crim6 is the undisputed GOAT at the moment.
Undisputed GOAT, man. That's a word that gets thrown around so much because the greatest of all time is it's very distinct.
One of 2 players to win $1 million. Total prize money, he's probably closer to 2. 36-time champion, 3-time world champion, 2-time gold medalist.
Would you agree that you're only the GOAT as long as your records stand?
Correct. But it shifts. The greatest of all time shifts, right? It's not like if Karma comes back and then wins another championship, then Karma's the GOAT again, right? If Big T were to come back and compete and win a championship, and then be like, all right, I'm done. I just want to show you guys that I'm still the best, right? Then, you know, it swings back to Big Timer, in my opinion, right? It's a fluid thing. It's not like a stamp on who's the GOAT.
I think that I am probably the greatest to ever do it in regards to eating hot dogs. There's not a person that can compete with me. I smash
Joey Chestnut.
I'll beat him.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. This is a guy who this year broke his own world record in a hot dog eating contest.
You know what's crazy? He actually had a woman with him at the thing. I was just like, that's amazing. That means anyone's gonna have love. No disrespect to the hot dog eating champion. No, man, you know, it's interesting, the whole Crimson thing, because when he released that video, which was beautifully shot, by the way, and it was beautifully
he didn't do it. Envious had a production team.
It was amazing. Like, I was like, sorry, this is like the music was great, and just to see Scump's response.
Scump was funny, man. Scump was legitimately funny.
But you know, he's the champ. Let's give the man his respect. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So
you got to respect it.
As a side note, Joey Chestnut in 10 minutes ate 75 hot dogs. That's disgusting, dude. That's 7.5 hot dogs a minute, bro.
You can't even stand next to him after that. You know he's got the meat sweats. It's coming out of all the parts. All the parts.
Disgusting. So let's continue on with the CDL here.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So there's two things that came out about the CDL very, very recently. Today, yesterday, whatever it is. So there are no expansion teams, which is only important for the second part here. So they're not going to add any more pro teams to the league, right? There's 12 teams or whatever it is, so there's no more expansion. So that means 100 Thieves doesn't get a team. Who else? There's no one really else. It's you know, fucking G2 Esports or whatever doesn't get a team, and TSM doesn't get a team, whatever, right? The important one is 100 Thieves, honestly. Although I think 100 Thieves should get the Gorillas spot, because the Gorillas had the most room to grow, because I thought it had really, really good branding, and they didn't do anything all year. So I think 100 Thieves should and would buy them out, in my opinion. But they're going back to 4v4. Right, so 2 years ago, World War II Black Ops 4 is we went to 5v5, and maybe it's just Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare, we went to 5v5. But everything prior to this was 4v4, right? And the game's more competitive, more strategic, I believe, at 4v4, because there's not that fifth person running around. It was played that way for years. So now, you know, there's only 48 pro players now that are at the tippity top. So those 12 players are now those
top.
Yeah, well, I mean, what the fuck are they at the medium top, Steve? There's now 12 players that are just out of a pro job. So
wow, it's kind of like that. Nice.
Right, because they went from 5 players a team to 4.
Yeah.
So there's 12 teams, 12 players no longer. So that would be 3 more teams, right? You got to imagine that's 3 expansion teams. Really, what they should have done is bumped it up to 15 teams. And then those guys all had a job and compete. So I'm curious on who gets cut from what team.
Can you explain the positions to me on your on a COD team? Like, is there a standardized like?
Yes.
And is it relevant? Because I've heard
it is. So really, it's not positions as much as it is which weapon type you use, right? Okay. Generally, there was 2 SMG players and 3 AR players. Now there was a flex that could play either depending on the need, and sometimes there was a person with a sniper and search and destroy. So now I think it'll go back to 1 submachine gun, 2 ARs, and a flex, is in my opinion.
Okay.
It used to be Slayer and objective players back when the guns weren't so specific on what you had to use. So you would have people who their main objective was to get in front of the object, and then you had to get through them to get to the point, right? Yeah. There was a hard point on the easiest one for me to talk about is slums, right? There's if anyone Call of Duty fans out there is gonna know slums from Black Ops 2. So there's a center point in the map where the first hard point spawns. It spawns on a fountain, essentially, right? It's a statue, I guess. And there was 2 choke points. There was there was Graveyard, which is directly to the left, and then the right side where the long driveway was. I don't remember the name of the call out for that, right? And you would essentially just position one person between those two because they were connected, the two choke points, and then that's it. You're good, right? And you would have the team would have to either kill the guy or get through him somehow. Now it's a little bit different. They play like that, but it's more, we want to get to the objective and defend the objective rather than getting out in front and stop you from getting to the objective. So the meta has changed quite a bit.
Okay.
I wonder if it's going to go back to that in 4v4.
Here's a very noob question. I've heard you say this word meta before. Can you explain to me what that is?
So a meta is like, the MP5 is the best submachine gun in the game. So that's a meta gun, right? Meta means like what's the most powerful and what's the most in at the moment.
Okay, gotcha. I'm trying to think of. I had some other questions that I had about COD League play. Well, wait. So let's backtrack here a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about this passing season here.
Sure.
And we've gone into nauseum about it, or at least you have. The defects in this season and what can be better. What do you expect out of next season? Like, what would you say if you were in charge? What are your expectations, and what do you think?
Whoa, if I was in charge, I changed the entire format. I think every team needs to play on every weekend. I think there needs to be more games. There needs to be more content. I think teams. And this is from a team's perspective, and Huntsman do this really well. They're the only team that does it really well at the moment, and Rocker to some extent. These teams need to be putting out content, right? They need to be. Baseball teams are good because these guys do interviews all the time, right? All these baseball players, football players, the UFC guys are on podcasts all the time, right? Like you got to build a brand around your personality so people can get behind that and become fans of your team.
Amen.
Huntsman have done it. Dallas has done it a little bit, but not to any extent near what Huntsman have. FaZe should be doing it better than what they are. I don't think they're doing it very well. So there's a lot of teams I think that just the teams themselves need to be stepping up to do. The league itself, man, I could write a fucking book on what the league needs to do. For sure, if the COVID situation is still going on by then, and it most likely will be, they need to make a bubble. Get the teams together, agree to when, where, why, and how, right? Get a bubble going. Activision is a $1 billion company. They can afford a bubble. They need to be playing on land. 4v4 is a good start. And I think that there needs to be more amateur tournaments. And I think if an amateur team is doing good enough, I think there needs to be relegation. Right. And now the issue is that they pay $25 million per team to get in. So you can't do that anymore. Right. Premier League does this. If the bottom X teams are doing bad enough, they go into relegation and have to play playoffs against other teams. And if they get bumped out, the other team is in. So the $25 million buy-in was bad, in my opinion. League of Legends just switched from relegation to just a regular season, no matter how bad you are. Not too long ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, and they did a very similar situation. It was a $25 or $30 million buy-in, and I think it's less competitive now than what it was because those bottom teams don't have to worry about losing their spot. So, if they wanted to, like the 76ers were notorious for tanking, right, to get a good draft pick. So, because they don't have any worries of getting kicked out of the league. But like a Premier League team can't do that. They need to win every single game because if they're in the bottom 3, then they go into relegation. So I think that would be big.
Now, what do you think we're actually going to get comparatively?
Nothing.
What do you think?
We went to 4v4. We won't have to see domination this year because Treyarch will put good game modes in for competitive, and Treyarch actually likes the competitive scene, right? Treyarch actually supports the competitive scene, so we'll see a better overall game experience for the competitive scene this year, for sure. So that might fix a lot of the issues.
And what do you think the platform should be? By platform, I mean, where should it be watched primarily? I think it should stay on YouTube, but I know we've disagreed on this before. You think it would be better for, or at least at the time, you thought it would be better for it to be on a cable of some sort.
I don't know if I've ever been directly quoted saying it'd be better on cable. I think if it stays on YouTube, it should also be on Twitch. It should also be on Call of Duty World League.com. It should also be on, I don't fucking, everything. It should literally be on everything you could possibly, it should be on Twitter, right? There should be a live stream of it on Twitter because Twitter has that capability. NBA games were played on Twitter, right? It should be on ESPN 8 The Ocho, right? It should be on whatever. Anywhere you could put that in so people could watch it, then I think it should be there.
Do they have some type of exclusivity contract with YouTube or something like that? Was it just for this year?
Correct.
Yeah.
Fizz got them signed into that so fast. Absolutely. Yeah, remember that's where Fizz started.
Yeah.
Fizz the head of Google Gaming at the moment, the global head of Google Gaming, started as an MLG caster.
No, absolutely. The only reason I know you have never been directly quoted, I was kind of giving the adverb there, but the only thing I have against it being on ESPN or any of these other platforms is like I think it has to be centralized, so you can watch an NBA game on TNT, right?
Sure.
I think you can still catch it on like what's another channel you can watch?
I have
NBA
no idea.
games?
No idea.
It's been so long. But let's say hypothetically, like also you can watch hockey on USA, I believe. You can watch it on MSG. You can watch it on and there was
NBC
a third
Sports.
channel. Yeah. I don't think, but that's for different teams playing at different times, right? I don't think
different teams playing at the same time.
Or different teams playing at the same time.
Right.
Especially with football.
We'll need that if every team plays every weekend.
Here's my fundamental argument, and this is not against you. I don't think ESPN is going to show it the respect that it deserves. Now, again, I'm just jumping in on this, and I've seen some of the earlier footage, but I wasn't there. I wasn't watching it as intently as you. From an outsider looking in, I just feel like this is something that they won't show the respect to. I can just hear Stephen A. Smith's voice right now, right? I can hear it now.
See, I know who this guy is barely because of the Rogan incident. Those guys aren't going to do anything, right? I don't care. You guys won't even talk about it. But ESPN does cover esports, right?
Yeah,
let's be fair. ESPN does cover esports, so I feel like if ESPN is gonna do it correct, there should be an esports channel. That's the start. G4 TV is coming back at some point.
Yes.
So maybe we'll see some coverage on there. But I don't know. I think if you have a way to get it on a platform that it's not currently on, and it's going to allow more people to watch it, that's the way you do it. Because it peaked at like 160,000 viewers, right? Like
on YouTube, yeah.
Right. Doc peaked it more than that. You know.
It's the GOAT.
An event should be the most popular thing at any given moment when it's going on, with the correct advertising and the backing and such. That's the way it should be. When the League of Legends Championship Series is on, it is the most popular thing on Twitch that day.
Apparently, also extremely enjoyable live League. That is, people love to go see those.
You probably would have to need to know League a little bit to watch it.
Yeah.
Even in some circumstances, I'm watching League going, what the hell is going on? And I've played a lot of League of Legends. There's certain games that are good spectator sports. Counter-Strike is a good spectator sport, in my opinion. Rainbow Six is awful. It's boring because they don't do anything. They're sitting there holding.
Sit there, you camp, and you wait.
Right. That's why Call of Duty is a better spectator sport. Counter-Strike, there's a lot of movements, a lot of strategy going on in Counter-Strike. Halo is a really good example because there's always action in Halo.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm trying to see, fighting games are a little different. They're harder to watch because it's just like, if you don't know that there's a huge skill gap there, then you're just like, oh, this guy, man, was a Street Fighter. But when you,
right.
Like, until you play the guy and you're like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. I didn't even know that character could do that.
Right.
No, but again, my bias is just this, and this I'm leading with the bias. I feel as if though, as it continues to grow, I would like to see it on Twitch. I would like to see it on YouTube. I would like to see it on one other esport platform, and then just kind of leave the big dogs out of it. Don't make the mistake that so many other things have done, and it's just like it gets gobbled up and it just doesn't get treated correctly.
Sure,
I agree. I'm in 100% agreement with you. It does need that type of marketing to grow. It does need to be naturalized in front of the normies' eyes and people to understand, like, hey, this is a sport. There's a whole scene behind it, but you got to be careful with some of these people.
Right. And the head of Activision, right, is there not the head of Activision, the head of Call of Duty esports, whatever it is, right? They would be the person taking care of that. They're an ex MLB commissioner, right? So they have ins in NBC, whatever, right? The people who show the fucking World Series are different than the people who show regular season games for a reason, right? Because they signed that contract, right? If they can get onto an NBC at 7:00 on a Thursday, right? There's a chance that's the most popular thing on NBC that week, right?
I don't know, man. This is Us is pretty popular. It's a tearjerker.
What is that? I have no idea. I couldn't care any less. You're going to explain to me right now, and it's going to fall on deaf ears.
It dominates. I don't even know if it comes on Thursdays anymore. It might come on Tuesdays. So you might be good. Go ahead. This is Us.
But it needs more viewers, right?
Yeah.
How do you sell t-shirts, right? And that's how, like, bands are a good example. Bands tour so much because they make all their money off of t-shirts, right?
Merch and gate.
Merch, right? Exactly. So they need to be in front of as many eyes as possible. There's a reason I own an Optic white jersey, right? It's because they sold them twice ever, and it was exclusive, right? And I watched Optic for a decade and saw them every Sunday they were playing on Championship Sunday in the Optic whites, And when Optic wasn't going to be Optic anymore, they were like, all right, one last time, and it has all of the names of the players who've ever played for them on the jersey, and there's a reason why I own it.
I would like to see comparatively, because what I'm thinking of is kickboxing. You ever follow Glory or any kickboxing?
I know of it, but no, I've never really watched it.
So all right, so kickboxing, if I'm being honest, is something that's tried to break into the mainstream for years, right?
It should be more popular than regular boxing, in my opinion.
And I wouldn't disagree with you there. It's a high skill level martial arts. It's amazing to watch, especially even the lower ranked cards are great to watch, because we're talking about there's a very low margin for error when it comes to Muay Thai and kickboxing. Like, you have to be on your P's and Q's, just like boxing and MMA. But there have been so many attempts to break it into the mainstream, and it's hit popularity a few times, but never really crossed over. Sure. And one of the reasons I think that Glory struggled was because it's it was I believe it started on Spike when they came back on TV.
Okay.
And they put the advertisement behind it. They got the great graphs. They booked some really good fights. It was really cool. But people enjoyed it more watching the recap on YouTube. Why was that? It's free on Spike, right? You're not paying pay-per-view bills. But for some reason, people would watch the entire fight on YouTube as opposed to watching it on Spike. And I think it was because they were missing their key demographic, which are the type of people who go on YouTube to watch these things. And I just don't want to see esports.
I'm not saying we stop streaming it on YouTube, right?
That's not what
I'm saying. I'm saying that if you can get it on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and fucking Spotify, and you can put that shit on its own website, and you can put it on TV, and you can put it on TV in fucking Canada, you should do that. Because there's
no TVs in Canada.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Only igloos. But I was saying, if you can get it in his front and of as many people, like, even I tweeted out and I'm like, hey, listen, I want to do coverage of this for the championship. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get my fucking Twitch channel taken down, so I'm not going to do that. But
why would you get your Twitch channel taken down?
Because the copyright things or whatever. Like, you have to be like a partner to like do the live streaming, and they don't have any currently. But I feel like they don't want to split their player. They don't want to split their viewer base. But the more eyes you can get on it total, and I'm not saying I'd be a good person to listen to, but doing it while it's going on. But I know a lot about the scene, right? I know the storylines. I know where people came from. I know what teams they used to be on and what their KDs were in Modern Warfare 3, right? So
I can picture you being that guy in the bubble whose head pops up, and now we're going to tune into Zach, and you're like, it's going to look like a great evening tonight. What's going on?
But like, I wanted to do that because it's, even though I don't like the game, I still enjoy Champs Sunday, right? It's the best.
Yes.
If TP wanted to do that, TP is the biggest Call of Duty, one of the biggest Call of Duty streamers other than Nick Merckx at the moment. TP should be able to do that, right? Because he used to be a competitive player. He's a champion inside of the MLG. He should be able to have the stream up with his face cam there going, hey, this is why they just made that play, and that would draw more viewers to it, but they won't do it.
No.
Did you hear about the
absolutely
creator
won't.
code incident that just happened?
I heard something about this, but again, I was going to come to you and help me make sense of what's going on here.
So
man.
Epic does this thing where if you buy V-Bucks and you put a creator code in, say you put creator code Ninja in, Ninja gets a cut of whatever money you just purchased, right? Because it's like, hey, they're like, hey, you know, Ninja brought this guy to the game, let's give him a kickback, right? So Call of Duty is going to do that now with COD points. Okay. And they left out every single one of the pro players. Scump doesn't have one. Crimsix doesn't have one. Nadeshot didn't get one. The reason Call of Duty competitive and Call of Duty in general, I believe, is so big is due in part to Scump and Nadeshot. You know, Nadeshot's the first esports player to ever break the mold of being an esports player and go on to do other things. Yeah. The first, well, one of the first, well, she technically was the first who was sponsored by Red Bull, but one of the first players to ever be put on a Red Bull can, right, is Nadeshot. Nadeshot was the cover of the Red Bulletin, you know, the Red Bull magazine. He was on the cover at one point where it was exclusively like Shaun White and the fucking Najee Houstons and that before. Nadeshot was on the cover of it, right? And then Flamesword broke it, but all the Optic guys like under fucking Hex all broke into this, but he was the first person to do that, you know? And I think that they deserve their creator code, and they won't do it.
That's beyond scandalous, dude. That is a lowball scumbag move. If I wasn't wearing the shirt that I'm wearing right now, I would use some other choice words for it. But that is typically why people tune in. Actually, I can actually validate. That's why new people come in. They come into these players and they're like, hey man, check this guy out. You like this game?
Sure.
This is one of the greatest guys to ever do it. You know how it goes. You go back, you watch everything they've ever done.
Sure.
Next thing you know, you're watching their stream 24 hours, and it's to not give them that code just sounds idiotic to me. So who got the code? Who got it? Who got it?
I don't know. You know, I gave up caring after I found out that Scump and Nadeshot didn't get it. I don't even know at this point. Honestly, I know TP got one and he deserves it. And maybe Nick Merckx, I would hope, right? Nick Merckx, every time he streams, just 50,000 people in his stream. He deserves one for sure. But other than that, I'm not sure. I'm unsure totally.
I'm gonna start leaning into the camera the same way Nick Merckx does, man.
It's awesome. He's funny.
The Merckx eye. Yeah, actually, not to pump up your ego, I could definitely see doing enjoyable live coverage. I think it's also, I agree, it's something you want. I feel these are all the I feels, right? Sure. All subjective. I think it is something that would help the league if they allow people to do that on their Twitch channel, because it's definitely going to centralize it. It's like, oh, I might not go watch it on YouTube, but Zach is streaming right now. I'm going to go check out his channel and get his commentary on it. So that's idiotic.
It all comes back to a rising tide raises all ships, right? The more popular someone gets and can draw eyes to something else, that gets more popular as well. So I don't know what their ideas or what their moves are. I hope it's good. I have a feeling that Fwiz is involved in some fashion because he keeps saying that wait for next year, it's going to be even better. And he's only on the YouTube side, right? So maybe they're taking some advice from him. Really, honestly, truly what they should do is actually hire Adam Apicella to come in and actually handle the production side of things. His company Esport Engine, I've said that multiple times in the show, I'm sorry. Like they need to come in and do a lot of the production because they did it free. They're the people who made the video game production, right? They're the ones who did all the original Halo events that were on TV. They're the ones who did all of the Call of Duty events going back forever. Hundreds and hundreds of events. That would be my first move as commissioner is get that guy to come in, fire the fucking production team and actually I think the production team has made up a lot of those guys still. But bring Adam Apicella in as the head of the production team for sure.
No. I mean, you got to centralize. You got to get the best people doing the job. I've said it before. You need someone that's a guiding hand in this, and someone that cares about these type of things. Like you need someone that's willing to be a bulldog for your organization and not to take no as an answer on any level. Like no, the production can be top notch. The promotion can be top notch. We can negotiate the best airing contracts with ESPN and NBC. And you need love them or hate them. You need a Dana White, right? You need someone that's going to fight tooth and nail to get these things where they're at. And
but the thing with the UFC is that the UFC needs the fighters, right? And they somewhat know that. Activision doesn't think they need these players, and they've been on record many a time saying that Activision made the players, not the other way around. You know, Call of Duty made these guys, not these guys made Call of Duty, and I think they're just wrong on that.
It's the same thing with the NFL and the NBA. You know, did the egg come first or did the chicken? The organization provided an opportunity, but the players are why people are tuning in.
Sure.
That's the bottom line. You're never going to be able to. That's the bottom line. Yeah. Like people tune into this, and the game sometimes is carried by the fact that, like, hey, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play casual with my friends.
Here's the real thing, right? Why is the most viewed game not the championship game in the CDL this year?
I don't know. Because
the Huntsmen weren't in it.
Wow.
That's it. Their playoff game, their final to go into the finals versus Atlanta, I believe was the highest, the peak viewership this year at 170,000 people, whatever it was.
That's amazing. That's like when the Bulls didn't make it to the championship one year, the ratings went down. It's like no one cares about the Knicks and the Houston Rockets.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously the good people of Houston who've been through a lot lately, so it was a good time for them. They won the championship. Talk to me about DayZ, Zach. This keeps coming. This keeps coming up, man. It's like an ex-girlfriend or
exactly what it's like.
An STD that just keeps coming back.
We don't talk about this.
But DayZ is back in the mix, man, and now it's at number 4. The last time we talked about it, it was at 8. It's at number 4 now. What's going on?
Was it? I'm actually looking up. Where is it? So I played DayZ the other day. That's the point, right? We were talking about it. I streamed it the other day. It took me, man, about an hour and a half to really get the DayZ feeling back, and yeah, here we are. I could fucking play DayZ every day again.
How's it's interesting because I was telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, Zach has gone full-time streamer. These have been his findings thus far. I did enjoy the fact that you came up with the Hawaiian shirt. You know, I know you're looking for a game to really settle into. I personally think it's going to be Avengers. You're going to stumble into. You're like, this game's amazing. But so what was it? You know, you're running around. You're doing your DayZ thing again, man. I got to tell you, first, watched a lot of footage on the game. Mm-hmm. You are right. You can go a long time without an encounter. But when it does happen, it pops off.
It pops the fuck off. Yeah.
Did you get any encounters, or were you just running around?
Just a guy that asked me to kill him because his friends were spawned on the other side of the map. He's like, "Hey, are we anywhere near Belota Airfield?" And I'm like, "Nah, man. It's about a 45-minute run that way." He goes, "Can you kill me?" I was like, yeah, man. So I start punching him. I punched him to
death. So you were in. How long did you play for?
A few hours. I don't know. I could probably look it up on Steam. Not many, I would think.
Besides killing that lone traveler.
Yeah, he asked me to kill him. I was like, I will oblige, sir.
Excuse me, do you know what Times Square is? Oh, man, you're way off. Oh, man. Would you shoot me? Would you shoot me?
It was literally, I could actually probably find it. He was like, I played it for 4 hours. He was like, hey, I was like, hey, man, can you hear me? Because I didn't know if my mic worked. I hadn't seen anyone yet. He's like, yeah, I can hear you, buddy. I can hear you. He was like some weird fucking, like, Southern Australian guy, and I'm like, why are you playing on like a New York server? And B, I was like, hey, he was like, hey, do you know where the Belota Airfield is? And I'm like, yes, of course I do. All right, no, I spawned in the middle of a field, looked around for like 5 seconds. I'm like, I know where I am. Run that way, right? Like I knew where I was, and I was like, yeah, man, it's literally a 45-minute run down the coast through the 2 major cities where you're probably gonna die, and then through another slightly less major city, and then you get to the airfield. He's like, yeah, can you kill me? I'm like, done. I died about 3 times. I died 3 times because this is really what I talk about is how much DayZ really shot themselves in the foot after the first or second patch of the game came out.
Tell me about it.
They made the health system a little complicated, and more bullshit than anything. Like, I spawned in and it was raining, and in the next 30 seconds, I get sick. My guy is sick now, and now I'm dehydrated and starving within the first 15 minutes that I'm playing. And I'm like, all right, this was never in the game before. This doesn't need to be here, right? The key to staying alive was making sure you had full food and full water, and that was it. There was no medical system other than that. You know, there was a point where you could do we used to do blood transfusions, forced blood transfusions on people. Actually, it was some funny DayZ stories. It was sinister stuff, man. It was absolutely sinister stuff. We used to get people and ask them trivia questions. Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
We would hold them hostage. We would always have guns, right? I have guns now. Like, in the days I played for 4 hours, and I have a full kit where I don't have to worry about food and water anymore. So we would find people, and we're in full military gear, which generally means you're a bad guy in DayZ, which we were. So we would run up on someone, like, they're like, oh yeah, I just spawned, man. He's like, you have any food? And I'm like, no, kneel down. What? No, get on the ground. Kneel on the ground right now. He's like, okay. He's like, is that gun loaded? And I'm like, was when I shot someone 35 feet up there. He's like, oh, okay, man. So he's like, hands up, because you put your hands up in the game, on the ground. And I'm like, Joe, cuff him. He's like, what? And he's like, all right. And then now he's handcuffed in like legitimate handcuffs. And I'm like, all right, Shane, put the bag on his head. He's like, what do you mean the bag? And Shane pulls out a burlap sack, puts it on his head. I'm like, all right, we're going to play with your life now. We're going to ask you trivia questions. So we made some kids sing the national anthem. That was really funny. And then we always had one ending question. It was always, what is the musical album Joe Pesci released as a child, as a young man? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, if I hear clicking, or if I think you're Googling the answer, you're dead. He's like, I'm not Googling, man. I just want to meet up with my friends. And I'm like, all right, what's the answer? He's like, we don't know. No one knows. So how would you know that answer? I'm like, Little Joe sure can sing. Bang! And then
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's an Aziz Ansari bit. It's the only reason I know it. So we would kill people. That's one of the stories. And, you know, we would every once in a while force feed people disinfectant, like disinfectant spray. We would force feed it because it would make you vomit. We would blood test people. So if like one of us needed blood, like we were hurt, so we would take their blood and then put it in us. Sometimes we would take blood from one guy and then put it in another, and that was really bad. That would really fuck you up.
This sounds like absolute madness.
It is.
No wonder you're running around hijinks, living out your darker base fantasies on a day-to-day
It's really fun.
basis.
I can't wait till I do it again. That's my goal, is to become like a hilarious bandit in DayZ. I'm at a good start. I have what I would consider right now like the peak mid-game gear. Right? I have a good melee weapon. I have a good gun with ammo, which is the hardest part. Giant backpack, warm clothing, food, which might be human food. I don't really know. I pulled it out of a furnace. Yeah, you can cut people up. So it might be that. I didn't do it personally, but I found a furnace upstairs. There were human steaks in a circle, and I'm like, well, this is weird. So I went downstairs.
Can't let it go to waste.
Right, exactly. Well, I didn't cook it. I went downstairs, and there was steak in the just said steak in the oven. So I was like, all right, I'm taking it. Someone was cooking this, and I'm taking it for mine. I have a canteen full of water, like clean water. We're good. We're good. We know how to live life now. So,
when's the next time you're streaming it?
Sometime this week.
I think sure. I'm gonna tune in for that one because
it's a lot of running. Let's be fair. I'm in Electro right now, which is one of the bigger cities. One of the two bigger, Electro and Cherno, like the major cities in the game. And they're both right next to each other on the coast. So I'm there. I think my goal now is going to be go from there. I'm gonna run up to one of the airfields, probably Northwest Airfield, which is always a hot zone. And either try to get in some PvP and try to like get that, you know, all the rust off there, or get some really, really good gear. So
DayZ, man. DayZ.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's an outrageous thing. All the words you just said for the past 15 minutes. Like if I was your therapist, like I was just listening to you right now, it's like, so Zach, let's talk about the aggression for a little bit. Let's talk about
it's just fun. It's fun. It really is. The biggest issue with DayZ is figuring out the map, right? Because like I'm trying to think for a reference. What's a game that you might know the map in? Oh man, do you remember any of the Call of Duty maps?
No.
Okay. I don't have any frame of reference. So okay, so do you remember the New York World War Z map?
Yes.
On how it's fairly long, like it's probably like a good 6-8 minute run from one side to the other if there were no zombies.
Right.
That's very small in DayZ. From one side of the map to the other could take you hours.
Okay, comparatively, is it as long as going from one side of DC to the other side of DC into Division 2? You know how when you're just, if you're not fast traveling?
Way longer. One side of DC to the other side of DC in Division 2 was like a 20-minute run.
Okay, so this is like double that then.
Way more, like 5 times, 6 times bigger. When I say literally, it could take you 2 hours to run from one corner of the map to the other. Like it might be more. You know, that's where we are with the game. It's huge. So when I say I spawned in a field and I'm like, oh, Belota's that way, not Belota, Berezino's that way, and then I crest the hill and I see the Berezino Tower, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know where I am.
Yeah.
I know that map really, really well.
I mean, I'm gonna check it out, man. It's not the game for me. Like, it's definitely just too. It might be. No. I can't be running into people like you on the field. Like, this is what's happening.
You would be part of our group. You would be part of our group.
I would be the conscious. I'm like, this is too far, man. We're taking it too far.
Hilarious. That would make it hilarious. You're like, we said we wouldn't do this anymore. And I'm like, I've done it 30 times today. You're like, I know, that's the issue. Yeah. A lot of the fun in that game is actually the interactions with people, right? That's a lot of fun in the game for sure.
You know what? I do. I do enjoy the fact, like the skirmishes I've seen with the people in there, because it's like the guns. I don't want to call them low tech, but they're not something that you're going to find like in a Division. It's not COD guns, so it's like
it's not Tarkov. It's very rudimentary.
Yeah, and it's like you got your little Winchester and you're popping shots.
Literally, I've killed hundreds of people with a Winchester.
Like it's a perfect post-apocalyptic gun.
My gun right now is a pump shotgun, but I got the slugs. I got good slugs, and I have buckshot as backup.
Listen, post-apocalyptic zombie land guns are the Winchester, sawed-off double barrel.
It's too loud. So there's a mechanic in this game where if I kill a zombie, right, and I don't know, I think I've killed 50 on this character already, the 4 hours that I've played. But if I kill it with a shotgun, it's so loud that A, players can hear me from really far away, but B, the zombies are now aware of where I am.
Oh man, this all makes me feel bad. This was back when I thought Days Gone was going to be a good zombie game, and I keep coming back to it. I got to go back and play it at some point, man.
Just play DayZ with me. Well, actually, wait till it goes on sale because it's like $40 and it's not worth $40. I promise you that. For a game that I've played 1,000 hours in or something, it's not worth $40.
Yeah,
wait till it goes on sale. It's a fun time, but like after the 3 weeks that it takes for one of those interactions to happen.
I'll do it. I'll wait till it goes on sale. I am chomping at the bits because now it's time to get serious, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about video games. We've educated you on. If you don't know anything about the COD League after listening to those segments, you're never going to know anything about it. But now we got to get down to the serious business.
Actually, if you don't know anything about it, come into my Twitch channel and ask me about it, and I'll give you the whole breakdown.
You know what? Actually,
long format.
Speaking of your channel, you sociopath. There's something I want to go through some of your tweets before the show.
Oh no, not my tweets.
I want to go through some of your tweets before the show's over today. All just right. A few of them to kind of see where you were at and if your medication hadn't kicked in before you started tweeting some of this stuff. But we all know that Chadwick Boseman celebrated thespian, and I don't mean that in a facetious way. He is a thespian. He's a great actor. Passed away recently, a couple of days ago. Yesterday, was it yesterday?
No, it was in the last episode. It's Friday.
Yeah, from
a 4-year-long battle with
colon cancer.
Colon cancer, yeah.
So Universally, I was watching. Actually, I was listening to him on a podcast with Willie Geist from the Today Show, and it was a great interview. Really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to other podcasts.
I don't know who any of these people are.
It's all right. I'll send you the links afterwards. So here's the thing, right?
Please don't.
Chadwick, huh? Don't send you the links.
No.
I will. Chadwick was a great actor who had done great things and like had a great life. Sure. He definitely lived what I would call a life fulfilled.
45 or something. He was young, right?
44. Very young man. I heard him referred to as no children.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, I'll get to another part of this, but he was a part of what one content creator called it's kind of sacrilegious, but the trinity of young black actors. So it was him, Michael B. Jordan, and Denzel Washington's son. They were like the three up and coming.
Denzel Washington's son's an actor?
Yeah, he's actually in that movie, the Black Klansman. That one, dude. He's actually going to be in the next Christopher Nolan movie that everyone's getting pumped up about. And he's a great actor. He's got great range, and I would say he's a better actor than Michael B. Jordan. But I also enjoy Michael B. Jordan in the roles that he's had. I understand that there's a limitation to his range, but I enjoy him in that stuff. And Chadwick, obviously, I thought of the three of them was the best actor. Like, this is the man that obviously he could throw himself into a role. Why am I saying all of this? Because he brought T'Challa, the character he played in the Black Panther movie, to life. In the conflict between him and Killmonger, his acting really stood out because he stood as a man in turmoil with his entire history behind him and the future in front of him. I'm a leader of a nation. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. I have to address the evils that my country has done before while leading them into the future and protecting them at the same time. And I thought he delivered really well. His back and forth with Michael B. Jordan was amazing. So now the MCU finds themselves in a very precarious place. I'm going to start by saying there is going to be ad hominem now. There is going to be a lot of assertions said. And then if I go too far off, Zach has the permission to hit the kill switch that is behind my seat to stop me from going too crazy.
Ejecto-cito, cuz.
But here's the thing. So you go into any of the forums, right? You go into any of the forums, and especially if you go to comicbook.com and anyone's commenting on this
Is that an actual website? Comicbook.com?
I believe, what is it? Comic book CBR. If you look it up, it's CBR or something. I don't read a lot of this stuff.
Oh, Comic Book Realm. There you go.
Yeah. But so it's already started. What's going to happen with the franchise now? They were in pre-production for Black Panther 2. It took a little while to get it off the ground, and to get a script together because they were trying to figure out if they were bringing back Ryan Coogler, who was the director of the first one. I believe he is coming back for the second one. But now people want to know, do you recast T'Challa? I am of the mind that no, you do not recast him. Here's my reason. Allow me to make my argument. He has left an impression on the franchise, right? People will not be. It's not like if Henry Cavill steps away from playing Superman in the Justice League movies. He's still alive.
It's very akin to Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if Ryan Reynolds had passed away, no one's going to accept a new Deadpool character. They'll go see it, right? But they're not. It's always going to be humming and in the background that this is who Deadpool is. I don't feel like they should recast T'Challa just based on that alone. He played the role well. 2, there's no need to recast him. As I was explaining to you before the show started, there is a story arc where his sister, who is Shuri in the movie and in the comic books, took over the mantle as Black Panther. Okay. The only problem they would have with that story arc, obviously, is how do we explain his disappearance, right? So you have to kill the character off and do that sort of cheesy Paul Walker thing where it's like, hey, this happened in between, and this is what's happening right now.
Sad.
That the Paul Walker thing
with the way that they did that last scene where they just drove off separate. That was so fucking sad, dude. You've never seen the Fast and Furious movies. You told me that.
No, I've seen that one. My mom.
Oh my god, you've seen that one. You have the context for the decade of greatest movie franchise of all time. I don't understand how you could even discredit.
Hold on for a second. We've been through this multiple times. I saw part 1 in the theater.
Yeah, very good.
Saw part 2 on the DVD. On the DVD, I felt really old.
I saw it was on the DVD.
I saw Tokyo Drift one day by mistake. I didn't even know it was a Fast and Furious movie.
That's the only way to watch that movie.
And then when Vin Diesel showed up, that pulled me back in. And remember, he had publicly fallen out with that franchise after part 1. That's why he was in part 2, and also with the Triple X. That's when he won a lot more money. So I saw that one. Then I saw his return while I was in California. Saw him come back. Him and Paul Walker. Remember, they had that great fight scene, and they're Paul Walker's running on top of the buildings, and then I saw I think that was the same one with The Rock. Saw the next one. I've seen all of them, dude. There was one I saw in the movie theater with Santana where Ludacris and an Asian guy in the movie, they fought some Chinese guy that's like a super martial artist, and he beats the brakes off of him.
What about when Rhonda fights Letty,
stupid.
I think.
So stupid.
So dumb. Stupid. And then they drive the hype and the what the fuck is the name of the car? The Lycan Hypersport. Out of the fucking Burj Khalifa into the other building.
Yes. Okay.
That was sick.
That's what we're gonna get back to Chadwick in a minute here. But that's exactly where the meme came from. Can't beat Thanos. Fast and Furious crew can do it. At one point, didn't they outrun a submarine? Like that was breaking up glaciers?
Yes. Actually they jumped a Lamborghini Huracan off of the glacier that it popped up and over some shit. This is also a movie. Hold on. This is also a movie that had a 30-minute long runway scene. Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember this? Where the fucking plane is driving down the runway for 30 minutes and they're chasing it at full speed.
That was also the same movie we kept trying to figure out when Gal Gadot was going to die, because we know she dies, and this is why the guy runs off to Tokyo and then is in Tokyo. He's coming back in the latest one. None of that has anything to do with Black Panther.
Fuck, but I'm glad. What's the guy's name? I feel bad for not knowing it.
But so that's my reasoning. I don't think they should recast it because they could go to that story arc. Here's the thing, though. You're an outsider looking in on this. I would be really interested in what you think from a business standpoint. We all know that the MCU is, owned by Disney, and Disney is doing a little bit better than they were before the onset of COVID. Actually, it turns out that they were doing okay the entire time this thing happened, those shrewd SOPs, and now they're going to be doing a lot better with their this is also not breaking news, but they did enable the plugin we had talked about for Disney Plus, which is called Disney Plus Access or something like that, where you'll be able to buy the movies directly through them.
There you go.
Now, so that's coming. The Mouse House, man, I tell you, it's just like they don't leave any money on the table. But what do you think they're going to do here? Do you think they recast him, or?
Dude, I honestly, legitimately don't know. I don't think you should recast him. I think that's disrespectful. I think if his character meant so much to so many people for any different reason you can imagine, I don't think you can recast him, right? I think it would be inappropriate to. I don't know what they do. I don't know enough about comics to like give you a legitimate answer. So that's all I got.
I think business wise, the only reason they would do it is if they feel as if though they can keep the franchise going. I don't think Kevin Feige is going to be for it. And yeah, man, it's a sad close to a chapter. But man, I just gotta say this: 4 years to be dealing with colon cancer, battling that, and then still be able to go in and do the type of grueling hours that's required of an actor. Absolutely amazing, man. And in all honesty, a part of me wants to say they should just let the Black Panther series come to an end, but I know they're not going to, and that's not realistic to expect them to do that. But this isn't the first time that an actor's passed away. The Shaw brothers and Warner Brothers had so much money pumped into Bruce Lee. He passed away that they had to actually like re-edit a few movies and put people in there to stand in for him. That was for Game of Death. Arguably one of the best scripts that I believe that he ever wrote was Game of Death. And I thought that was going to be that was projected to be a bigger hit than Enter the Dragon. And they had to use stand-ins for a lot of the scenes in there. Actually, to the point where Bruce Lee's almost barely in the movie. The real Bruce Lee.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see what they do with that. And then moving into some more comic book news, man. This blows my mind. I cannot believe what I'm about to say. I have not seen it myself, but the Mantis went to go see it and he enjoyed it. Other people have reviewed it. They all risked their lives going to see this movie this movie has been delayed more than Cyberpunk itself. I can't even remember what the original release date was, but apparently New Mutants, the last actual iteration of the X-Men universe from the Fox franchise, was released in theaters. Didn't even know that was a thing that could happen now. People went to go see it. and they love it, man.
What is the New Mutants? Did we talk about this at one point or another?
No, we didn't. I think we might have talked about it a little bit when Mantis was here. So New Mutants historically is a comic book that came about, I believe, in the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s. And basically it was a younger version of the X-Men. Their backstory is that they are the New Mutants and they're in a junior team and they're being trained at the Xavier Mansion. They go through a lot of hard stuff to get to where they're at. New Mutants has been New Mutants, then it's become X-Force, and then it's gone back to New Mutants, and the members have changed, waxed and wanes over the years. But this
Deadpool and X-Force?
No, Deadpool. So Deadpool is he becomes a member of X-Force in the comic books, but later he's always been an antagonist of X-Force, peripheral to the character.
Just talking shit to him, right?
But if Rob Liefeld, Mantis, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I think Rob Liefeld's the guy that came up with the Deadpool character, and man, I just gotta tell you, that character has grown so much from the first time I read him in the X-Force comic. Before, he was just a rip-off Spider-Man. It's actually a rip-off from a DC character that they just made kind of comical.
Deadshot or some shit, right?
Deathstroke.
I was close enough that it could have sounded okay.
Yeah. It's amazing. For this, let me tell you about what New Mutants is for Fox, right? Sure. So Fox is filling themselves, right? Maybe they knew they were going to get acquired by Disney, they were going to sell, but they're like, hey, we don't care what any of you guys say. Age of Apocalypse, amazing movie. Even though we just corrected the timeline in the previous movie and we could have ended it there, the last X-Men movie was an absolute mess, and Phoenix was even horrible. It's like, we're going to make a horror film. We're going to make a teenage horror film, and we're going to cross over into that realm, that genre with teenage actors. They're all going to be good looking. This is going to be a big thing. I could see the producer in the pitch meeting with the coke hanging out of his nose. It's like, this is going to be huge for us. And then it got delayed. And they're like, all right, no. It's coming out. It's coming out. We promise.
Delayed.
We promise.
You know my opinion about delay.
And then it got delayed again. Right, and then it got delayed one more time, and then they're like, all right, now we're doing reshoots, which is always a bad look.
Okay.
So when Disney acquired it and they finally finished the last reshoots, it got vaulted for a little bit, and then for a while we didn't know if it was even going to come out. It finally got released, and everyone who has reviewed it has said the same exact thing. There are some problems with the film, but for the most part, it's good. It's good. It's a good film, okay. And it's so sad that Fox finally got this after they were done.
Okay, so you described it as a teenage action horror superhero movie, correct?
Yes, horror genre, yes.
But all of those teenage action superhero.
No, let me rephrase that: teenage horror superhero movie.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. I had a bit where I was going to talk about the worst tagline or worst one sentence description of a game of all time, and right. I have it pulled up, but that was not that bad of a description, honestly.
No, because the description has to sound idiotic, right? I have to impress upon people. Imagine being in a pitch for this. They're like, "Hey, teenagers, superhero, horror."
That's not that bad. That's not that bad. Do you want to know what Tarkov's one-line description of itself is from their website?
What's that?
Escape from Tarkov is a hardcore and realistic online first-person action RPG simulator with MMO features and a story-driven walkthrough. I'm not talking about an identity crisis.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Listen, some of these actors in this movie, man, some of them. There's one young lady. She was in Game of Thrones. I don't know her name. Maisie Williams, right? Yes. Apparently, her performance was amazing. There's another one, another young actress that plays a very popular character in the New Mutants. I believe her name is called Magic. I can't remember the name, but she's Colossus's sister. That's a little inside baseball talk. That actress was amazing.
Who is Colossus?
Oh, Colossus is the big metal dude that Deadpool is fighting in the movie.
Oh, okay, that's funny. Cable saves him.
Yes, actually, I enjoyed Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I didn't like Deadpool 2. I didn't like it too when I saw it in the theater. It was a little bit too much to take in, but I enjoyed it later on. But yeah, look, I don't have much else to say about this because I haven't seen it, so I can't give my own critique. But I cannot believe that the interwebs are abuzz. Isn't hating it. I was sure of that, and I was sure they should have just released it to VOD along with Bill and Ted. But here it is.
Bill and Ted on VOD?
Yeah. Yes, you didn't know that? Came out the other day.
I didn't know.
If you want to go check it out, New Mutants is playing in Connecticut. We'll go swing by and oh, you can't go outside. You can't go into this world.
There is Chick-fil-A in Connecticut though.
Where in Connecticut?
Danbury.
Oh, you're right.
There's 2 of them. There's one in the mall. There's one right down the road too.
And you know what's happening right after we end the show, ladies and gentlemen? We're not ending anytime soon, but I can tell you what's going to happen for me once
Steve's going to download this freaking game and he's going to check out from the world for a few days just to come back to me on Friday and give his official review from after the game gets launched of, well, the game is pretty good, but there's these things wrong with it that, you know, kind of make it not great. And I feel that's my official prediction.
Oh, that's your here's what I predict, man. I predict that Avengers A Day is going to be the game that I've been waiting for. That I've been waiting to play.
So are you giving me a legitimate prediction, or are you setting yourself up for failure?
A little bit of both.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Do your thing. Sorry, keep going with the bit. Keep going with the bit.
I like to build myself up. Yeah, it's available. I pre-ordered it, so it's available for download. I'm going to do that right after this, and I'm just going to get deep into it. And I'm interested to see what the unlock campaign mode is going to be like. I'm really interested.
You know what I just remembered?
What?
Tony Hawk this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Forget Avengers A Day.
Yeah, Tony Hawk comes out on Friday.
I'm uninstalling it even as we speak. Oh, that gives me a week. A week starting from today. I should be able to beat the game if I focus on it.
If you could beat a game in the first week that it's out, it's not a good game.
It's just a campaign.
That's agreed. It's not a good game.
All right.
I value games by how much time I could get out of it per dollar, right? You spend $60 for it. If I can't at least get 60 hours out of a game, I don't like it.
Well, I mean, that's if I go ham every night, right? If I play from 12 to 4 every night and then not sleep for work at all, maybe even push it to 6, just take it old school, I should be able to beat the game in a week.
But that's only like 4 days. I wonder how long the campaign actually is. How long is the main story?
It's not very long.
Less than 20 hours?
That I can't quantify for you, but there are already people streaming it and like powering through it right now.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I saw a guy in New World the other day who was level 55. And I'm like, sir, you have a problem. I'm like,
he's like, no problem. I've actually been sober for 12 years. This is what I do now.
No problem. I just have a direct injection of Adderall into my veins. I'm like, okay, sir, have a good time.
No, but we'll see. So I'm going to power through the campaign. I'm actually going to record some of my gameplay and just like, put it up on my IG and stuff like that for people, maybe even on the page's channel too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Please do that.
For people to enjoy.
If you want to live stream it on YouTube, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about doing that, but I'll get everything set up and I want to take you guys through it, and then I'll give my official review, because at this point, I'm not sure there's a game after this in Tony Hawk that I'll be looking forward to. Right? I don't have anything on the horizon.
Of games coming out that was actually pretty good. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
Yeah, you just dead aired me right now. It's like kicking me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what's coming up pretty soon here? Gaethje versus Khabib, but we're not going to get into that.
I can talk about that forever, I think.
I know some people are going to be really upset at me about the New Mutants thing, but hey, man, I got to call it like it is, man. Fox didn't do great with the X-Men franchise, but they did better, right? They did better than maybe other people could have done in, that time period. As far as New Mutants, I asked Mantis a real question. If I have any comic book viewers out here, I want to know if you guys think that they're going to roll New Mutants over into the mainline MCU and incorporate that and then bring in the mutants into that. If you have an opinion on that, leave it in the comment section. Hit me up on IG. Definitely like to get a discussion going. What'd you find, Zach?
You know what's really crazy? There's nothing good coming out. You know what's really crazy? Fortnite just became canon in Marvel.
What?
Yeah, they signed that big deal with Epic, and Fortnite's in the game. Marvel's in Fortnite now, and saw an article earlier that said it was canon. So,
wait, it's Marvel's canon for Fortnite, not the other way around, right?
I think it's the other way around, my friend. I think we believe Fortnite is now canon in Marvel. I really like to derail you with these like side topics that I think of right off the top of my head.
I don't have strong feelings against Fortnite. I mean, I know that you I know that you do not enjoy the game at all. I actually played
I've never played it.
You haven't played it once?
Nope. There's
Fortnite?
no reason to play it.
Someone put up Fortnite. Marvel made Fortnite canon. I have lost my entire mind. What? Trying to make sense of the comic community at the best times require offering a tiny little part of your brain to be smashed to gooey smithereens in the mortar of pestle comic book publishing tomfoolery. But that's as far as I can go on that. Who cares? Canon how? I don't even know. So what these guys are like.
Steve is saying that who cares, but he really cares.
I really care. I'm trying not to like read this whole article.
Yeah, don't. I was just trying to fuck with you a little bit. So
you know we should play Fortnite one time.
No, I don't want to, man. I have no interest. Talk about games I have no interest for 500, Bob. That is one of them.
That was a good reference right there. Listen, here's why I think we should play. Very good. Here's why I think we should play Fortnite, right? Because I do agree with Nate Shot that there's one skill in Fortnite that kind of equalizes everything, even if you're the best shot. It's that building, man.
Yeah, that's what ruins it for me. It's a shooter with an identity crisis again, right? Same thing as Tarkov has that issue right now too. Is it a shooter, or is it a BR? Or is it some fucking building simulator, right? I get that it adds a huge skill gap to it, and that's really interesting. And I think skill gaps are really good for games. But it also, because of that skill gap, it allows me to go, I don't have any interest in it. Because I don't want to take the time to learn the mechanics of how that works and how to build and what the correct builds are. There's a meta to how things are built, right? There's a method, and I don't know it, and I don't want to learn it. I don't have that much time in my life, dude. I honestly don't.
I've watched videos, like actual tutorial videos on how to be a better builder in Fortnite, and like it turns into one of those things where it's like, all right, so here's what you can do. You and then there it is, New York. I'm like, you didn't explain one thing.
Here's how to be a better builder in Fortnite. B13, have nothing else to do.
Build a rig. Way too overpowered for the game you're about to play.
Play it on an iPad. Oh.
No. Oh man, that's nuts.
All right, you wanted to do this Twitter topic that I came up with.
Okay, yeah.
I'm curious. Do you have stuff? Do you have stuff pinned? Do you have stuff that or are you just gonna scroll through and interrogate me on things?
Just like any crazy ex, I'm just gonna scroll through and see what jumps out and gets me going to come over to the house to put a plastic bag over your face while screaming at you, please come back.
That's oddly specific, and I feel like you're projecting.
She had it coming. Let's see.
Oh my god, dude.
Can you please put us in a 3-screen right now, man? And I need you to go to the Hawaiian shirt Sunday picture.
No.
So I gotta ask you about this. Hawaiian shirt Sunday starts now, but the picture itself,
it's hilarious, right?
Yeah, tell me about it a little bit, man.
That's it. I did that the last week too. I thought it was funny, and that's why we're here. That's it.
I feed off my doubters. Here's a good one. Can anyone explain to me where all the Paulo Costa hype come from? Who did he beat to deserve the hype? Oh, so we're gonna get into a little MMA trivia here. Who did he beat to deserve the hype? Let me think here.
Who did he beat? Who did he beat?
Who did he beat? Who did he beat?
In the
Uriah Hall.
In the
he
UFC.
Beat Johnny Hendricks. He beat
Gareth McLean. Olola Bambagos. I don't know how to say that guy's name. I'm very sorry. I'm usually pretty good at this. Johnny Hendricks, Uriah Hall, and barely beat Yoel Romero, if not lost to him.
That was a robbery. I'm not going to lie to you.
So where does all the hype come from?
I think the hype comes from the fact that he is a big guy. He's an explosive guy. He's chiseled, like made out of rock chisel. Mm-hmm. And people are just, they want to see Israel tested. But if I have to concede the point, yeah, there's no hype.
All right, moving on to the next.
No, he's an amazing fighter.
These weren't supposed to have a fucking good conversation about this. This is dumb.
I'm sick of BRs. The market is super saturated right now.
It's true. They announced another BR at Gamescom, I think, and I'm over it.
You know what I love best about you, man? like there's no beginning or end to the explosion. It's just like that's it. Like
Dude,
you just like
I've been over BRs since Blackout, since Black Ops 4. Like we did H1Z1 was good, right? The Arma 3 Battle Royale, which is the original one, was good. PUBG was good, and then everything else after that is just like everyone trying to jump on the hype train. It's just dumb. I don't like it. I think it's oversaturated.
this was one that stood out to me, and it's like a real heart wrencher right here, man. Because I know what it's about, but it's just from August 24th. It's a few words, very simple. I miss at Bodie.
I miss Bodie, man. I miss Bodie, dude. I really do. I wish Bodie would come back. I hope he comes back soon. I hope he's enjoying his time off streaming, and I need some new techno in my life, so I need Bodie to come back.
Any word from him? This is the other Hawaiian shirt.
Some, yeah, there were some, but not a ton.
Yeah, what did he say?
Oh, he's enjoying his time off. You know, he streamed a lot of hours for like 8 months, and then to die the way that he died, yeah, it's dumb.
Dude, I've seen some great videos about that though. I'm not pooping on Bodie, but like it's like literally to see the whole thing, because I had to track it down to kind of figure it out for myself.
Yeah.
But it's as bad as you described. It's like, all right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go use the bathroom really quick.
Click. What? Comes back. He's like, what happened? It was bad, man. It was really, really bad.
I'm looking at some other ones here. There's some that are inappropriate, obviously. These are your private thoughts. Like there's some stuff where you're getting at people with some debates and stuff. I'm pretty far back in your thing.
You're better. You're scrolling for months then.
Yeah. Is this the one with the little kid on the bike? This is horrible.
What? I don't remember this tweet. Most of my tweets are about fucking food.
No, there's someone you retweeted something. There's a little kid riding on a bike down a hill. He goes, he swerves right into a garbage can. What is
Dude, I can watch kids fall off bikes all day. It's funny as fuck. Okay. I don't.
All right, here's a Grill Master. That's a good one. What happened to all your zany? Oh, there it is. Is this a good one? No.
What?
There are a dozen donuts under him. So this is a great one. The one of your cat laying on donuts.
There was literally a dozen donuts.
What's your cat's name, man?
That was Freddy.
How much does this animal weigh?
I have no idea.
See, this is the next time we do this, we're gonna have to do a 3-screen because the people need to see what I'm seeing right now.
This was I can show this one. Let's see. That should work. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is a picture of my cat. This is Freddy. He is the smallest out of our cats.
How big are the other ones, dude?
I put my water bottle on my cat Zeus the other day. This is about the third the size of my cat. This is a big ass water bottle, dude. It's the size of my forearm. Yeah.
How old is he?
Freddy?
Yeah.
Probably 2.5 years old, something like that. I got him from my mom after our other cat passed away. Batman was his name, so how much do you let a 5-year-old name a cat? This giant gray cat was even bigger than Freddy was, or Freddy is. Had him for like, I don't even know, 15, 16, 17 years. He passed away. I was at PetSmart. They had adoptions. I picked the broken one. He has a broken tail. His tail does one of these. It goes up and then over and then up. So his tail is broken in 2 different spots. So I grabbed him.
You're a good person, Zach. You know what? I've said some horrible things about you to you right to your face, and I'll say them all again at any given time. But there are moments where I can see your soul is actually working, man. Like
every once in a while.
Your dad's dog, the one that passed away. What was her name?
Peppermint. That was my dog, man.
Peppermint. That was your dog?
Okay. That was my dog, man. We had her for 18, 19 years, whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember just seeing. Oh, this is another great one. Look at this fat cat laying on the keyboard.
How far up is that one?
I'm pretty far back, man. I'm so deep into your life.
That's my cat Zeus. That's yeah, he does that all the time.
Why do you have a picture of Willow Smith? This is getting weird. I'm getting out of your stream, man. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have all the things that I want because you have a lot of stuff from that's just man. Your Twitter feed is a dark and
Dude,
dangerous.
how do you not get to this one? You can't convince me that back wings aren't the sickest tattoos you can get. How did you not get
Are you looking at that because of Max? Is that why you said
it was Max Holloway. Yeah. How do you not get to like funny ones like that? You pick ones of my cat and shit where I have to show images.
Because cat, that's when you know that the person is real, man. Anyone can drop a funny meme. Anyone can drop a funny tweet. I want to see your fat cat. I want to see what you do in your life. Actually, you know what's the best thing on your Twitter is when Shane scares the shit out of you coming up behind you.
That's a good clip. That was for my 24-hour stream last year on my birthday. Yep. Shane scared the shit out of me.
That was absolutely amazing. All right, cool beans, man. Zach, what do you got going this week for your show, for the stream? Tell us, give us a plug, man.
Oh man, we have some Elder Scrolls Online coming tomorrow evening. I'm sure we're gonna be playing For the King more. I don't know, we didn't talk about that, but For the King's a turn-based RPG roguelite, they call them, but it's like a D&D game. It's a lot of fun. So we got that coming up. Late in the week, this week, we are going to be playing some Tony Hawk. We beat Need for Speed Heat on stream over the weekend, so that was fun. Yeah, I don't know. DayZ mixed in, Battlefield mixed in, whatever the hell I feel like playing. That's what I play.
Hold on a second. Tell me a little bit more about the Return to the King game.
So it's For the King.
For the
literally,
King,
as I described it, it's you basically you play. It's a 3-player co-op. You pick a character. There's a bunch of different characters. I bought most of them now. I've played so much that I've been able to like purchase, like with the in-game currency that you get from doing dungeons. I've been able to purchase most of the characters now. I think I have 3 left to buy. And you go on adventures, right? You literally are doing a D&D campaign in this game. I was actually able to beat one of them on stream today. I did 4 hours straight and beat a campaign, and then I went into a dungeon. Like there's a mode where it's like you're just continuously in a dungeon. I cleared 78 rooms in a row. I thought that was pretty good. I'm pretty good at the combat now. I understand the combat, the way that it works. So I was able to do that. Yeah, it's a fun game.
I am so old, man. Like I just think about the amount of time that you have like to put in
4 hours. That was about it.
4 hours? That's a lot of game time, man.
I don't have anything else to do. I streamed for like 7 hours today.
It is your job. It is your job.
At the moment, yeah. So yeah, no, it's fun. It's very, very fun. It's turn-based. And like you level up, you're getting gear, you're like, comparing stuff. It's a lot of fun, for sure.
Just in case you guys don't know, we do have a Discord where you can jump in and you can chat with us anytime you want to. Zach also has its own Discord for his Twitch channel.
Don't worry about that. Jump in the Talking with a Dad Discord. It's linked down below. If you want, you can come check out my Twitch channel, Zach N Plays. Definitely check us out on the Twitter, the Facebook, the Instagram, all of that good stuff. The website, the YouTube channel, fucking I'm sick of this bit. I'm gonna pre-record this bit and I'm just gonna put it at the end of every show.
It's an in-car. Hey, real quick, I just want to ask you one thing. I gotta bring this up, and I wasn't going to, but so you know the singer Adele. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with her work. She used to be
yeah. She used to roll in the deep.
Yeah, yes, exactly. She actually is in a bit of hot water with some people because she went to a Jamaican festival. Was invited. It's like a carnival festival. It's basically, you've seen it before, where they dress up and they have like a very festive look, and she's got her hair up in a few knots and stuff like that. She's got the Jamaican flag on as a bra, and she's got the feathers in the background.
Bikini top. Yeah, I'm looking at her right now.
Yeah, so apparently people, because she's got the Bantu knots in. Apparently some people, I won't even say a lot of people, are upset about this because they feel like she's appropriating and that she's stealing from the culture and misrepresenting. But if you look in the background, you'll notice that there, and I'm willing to die on this hill. I just want you to take a look in the background. Tell me what you see. Besides there being a lovely house, do you see a certain type of person in the background? Or is there somewhere back there that maybe someone of a darker melanin complected skin, and she seems to be at an event that she was invited to? So here's my stance on it, right? I'm not asking you to weigh in, Zach, if you don't want to. I know you don't want this type of smoke in your life. That is the exact opposite of someone that's showing disrespect and disregard to another culture.
Yeah, the people who are offended by this are morons. Let's be fair, right? When you go to an event like this, I think you dress up for it, right?
Yeah. You
don't like show up in your fucking street clothes. You're like, dude, I'm part of the event, bro. And they're like, no, you're not. Just get the fuck out of here. No, I feel like this is fine. The people who get offended by this kind of stuff are the people who are looking to get offended by anything, right? They're the people who get offended by statue placements in video games. So we had that conversation months ago.
Yes.
Those are those same morons. I would say different words if we weren't on YouTube, but those are the same morons. I really have nothing else to say about that. They're in fucking London. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you want from me on this one, man.
I don't want anything from you. I just want to point out that I wanted to end it on a good note, and I wanted to make sure you people know where I stand on this type of stuff. If she was in blackface and she was like trying to speak in a certain cadence, and she was, claimed that she kept hot sauce with her everywhere she went, an actual politician did that, and most of you voted for her, then I would be offended. Then I would absolutely be offended. This is just Adele having a good time. She lost a lot of weight, man. She looks like she's living a really good life now. Not that she wasn't living it before, but hey, that's my official stance on it. That was just something that was eating away at my spirit, man. It literally just bugging me all day long. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, man. This is what the show is for Steve's expressive outlets and therapy is a good one. And for Steve to really make all of his hot topic opinions, he's allowed to do that on this show. And that's what we love about Steve. But we will have to call in our second co-host next week. So while Steve goes into a minor administrative suspension after the cultural appropriation he has committed here today.
I cannot be suspended or canceled. Don't touch me. I am not leaving the office. I'm sorry, man. You're gonna do the plugs. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's it, man. Talking with the dad anywhere you can find anyone doing anything. That's it. That's where we are. Good night.